In this lesson, I'll give you an overview of Android resources and lay the groundwork for the following lessons on some resource topics. In these lessons, I'll use the API Demos app and other apps to show examples of resource use. As shown in this page from the developer's website, main resource types include animation, color state, drawables, layouts, menus, strings, styles, and some additional types: Boolean, color, dimension, ID, integer, integer array, typed array. There are a number of useful web pages on the Android developer's website explaining resources. The concept behind resources is to separate them from Java code for a few key reasons. One big reason is to allow runtime changes for localization. For example, to change text to other languages for devices in a given country. Another is to allow layout changes for different device sizes and types, and to allow changes for screen orientation, portrait versus landscape. Still, another reason is to allow better management and control of app resources in the development process. A text string located once in a resource file is better than hard-coding that string into various Java code files. For any resource, you can specify a default resource and multiple alternative resources. On the developer's website, for example, we see an example diagram where a default layout would appear the same, except stretched, on a smartphone versus a tablet. And with multiple resources, there could be one layout for a smartphone size and another for tablet sizes. We saw a simple example of using resources in our first app project. The folders with dashed alternative names, such as drawable-HDPI, are providing resources for, in this case, high-density display screens. The folders without dashed alternatives provide default resources, such as values in this example. The various versions of our launcher icon for high, low, medium, and extra high-density screens allows Android to display an icon that looks right on a wide variety of screen types. As apps grow larger and more sophisticated, the number and types of resource files can grow to fairly large numbers. Imagine if you want your app to display differently on everything from smaller smartphones to larger tablets, and then imagine the number of text translation alternatives you would need to offer native language support from many countries around the world. You could easily end up with hundreds of resource files. Another advantage of the separation of resources from Java code is that for larger projects, resource files can be managed by a user interface team separate from the Java coding team. They can work relatively independently and in parallel to simplify and speed up the development process. That's our overview of the resources chapter. Now let's move on to the next lesson.